Welcome to our deep dive today into Azusa 2, by the
Mm.
Hunters. We've got a lot of interesting sources for you. The original Japanese lyrics, of course, and a bunch of articles and stuff in English about this song. I think it'll be really fun to kind of unpack this whole thing. I mean, it's so much more than just like a catchy song. It was released way back in 1977, and it was a huge hit. But it also kind of gives us this glimpse into like Japanese culture, especially how train travel like reflects life's journey.
Yeah, it's so fascinating how a specific train, like the 8.0 AM Azusa 2, becomes this really powerful symbol in the song.
Yeah.
It represents escape, a jump into like the unknown for this woman who's leaving Tokyo.
You know what really struck me was when I first read through the lyrics was that line, "Tomorrow I'm going on a journey with someone you don't know." It just kind of sets the scene for like the whole song.
Right.
It's not just a train ride, it's about leaving a love behind and starting a new chapter, but like it's almost secretive.
Yeah, exactly. And the lyrics really hint at this like emotional complexity.
Mm-hmm.
She's clearly heartbroken, like unable to even say goodbye directly.
Yeah.
Yet, there's also this excitement about the future, about this new love she's heading towards out in the countryside. It's like if she's running away from the pain, but also running towards something new,
Yeah, it's like a push and a pull.
right?
I was surprised to learn that Azusa 2 was actually the Hunters' debut single.
Oh, wow.
So, did they ever expect it to become such a defining part of their career?
Well, it totally did. It became their signature hit. I mean, they sold over 800,000 copies.
Wow.
They even went through a period where they were kind of hesitant to even perform it live because it was just so popular. Sometimes artists want to show like their range and not just be known for one song.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it's understandable.
It must have been so surreal for them to see like their song have such a huge impact. I mean, their management company was even named Azusa 2 for a while.
I know, right?
Not to mention like the throat-soothing supplements.
Right. It just took off. It
Yeah.
really shows like how much it impacted like their career in the music industry.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so we talked about like the story behind the song, but what about the music itself? I noticed that the structure really emphasizes those like conflicting emotions in the lyrics. You've got these kind of like melancholic verses, almost like a lament,
Yeah,
but then the chorus shifts to this like surprisingly upbeat tempo.
that's a great observation.
Yeah.
Yeah, the music really mirrors that turmoil that the woman in the song is experiencing. It's like we're
Yeah.
experiencing her journey, but through sound, the sadness of leaving and that hope for the future are both present.
It's interesting how something as like structured and scheduled as a train journey can become like a metaphor for how messy and unpredictable life can be.
And to add to that, the actual Azusa 2 train that ran back in 1977 doesn't even run anymore.
Really?
Yeah, the train schedules and like the numbering conventions have all changed over time.
Right. I read about that. So the song captures this very specific moment in time, like a snapshot of a journey that basically now only exists in memory and through the song itself.
Right.
But there was that special revival run, that nostalgic Azusa 2
Oh, yeah.
back in 2002. And the Hunters were like guests of honor.
Yes, they were on that train.
I read it departed at 8:02 a.m., not 8:00, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because of scheduling conflicts.
Yeah, that's funny how that happened.
That's such a funny detail that highlights how things just change even when you try to like recreate the past.
It's true. It really
It's
is.
like life imitating art, but with a 2-minute delay.
That's a great way to put it. It's amazing that they even organized that special run.
Mm-hmm.
It really shows how powerful the song is, how it resonated with people who wanted to experience that journey, even though it wasn't exactly the same.
Yeah, it's as if the song like created its own world, its own reality, independent of like the real world train schedule.
That's a great way to put it. Azusa 2 really does exist on a different plane now,
Mhm.
fueled by memory and emotion.
Speaking of its impact, Azusa 2 has been covered by so many different artists across like so many genres. It's clearly a song that speaks to people beyond just the original context.
Yeah, it's constantly being reinterpreted and reimagined,
Yeah.
like from traditional enka singers, which for anyone who's listening who might not be familiar, it's a genre of Japanese pop music,
Well, cool.
and to pop idols, and even a voice actress. There's a voice actress who references a character named Azusa in a video game
No
in
way.
her version of the song. It's wild.
What I think is really fascinating is how those different covers might change the feeling or the focus of the song. Do some emphasize the heartbreak, while others like lean into the excitement of like the new beginning.
That's such a great point. We should totally explore that more in a bit. For example, there's this cover by this Japanese comedy duo. They turned it into this hilarious take on the original, almost like a satirical take.
Okay, before we like dive into all the covers, there's one more thing I gotta mention. Apparently, when Azusa 2 was released, the Hunters were known for like their bold fashion choices, especially those really tight, really colorful pants they wore.
Oh yeah, I read about
It's
it.
quite a look, very different from the traditional Enka attire, you know?
Yeah, very different.
It's like their fashion choices reflected how bold the song itself was, you
Yeah,
know? This
yeah,
departure from the norm, musically and visually.
it really does.
So we have this hit song, fashion trends, a management company named after it, even a special train revival.
Right.
But now I'm curious to get your take on this. What does Azusa 2 tell us about like those universal themes, change, nostalgia, the bittersweet nature of moving on? Like
Yeah.
what stood out to you when you first like encountered the song?
You know what really struck me? It was how the song really like captures this specific cultural moment in Japan. Like the rise of train travel,
Yeah.
the whole allure of the countryside,
Yeah.
like as an escape. And even those subtle ways that emotions were expressed back then.
Yeah, it really is like a time capsule of 1970s Japan. But the thing is, those themes still resonate, you know, today. Like, we still grapple with that, like, pull between urban life and rural life, the desire for new experiences, and that, like, bittersweet feeling of leaving things behind.
Oh, absolutely. It's a timeless story, but framed within like the specifics of a particular train and era.
Yeah.
But the emotions are universal.
There's one line that always gets me. It's, I know that everywhere I go, I will remember you.
Mm-hmm.
It's so simple, yet it's, like, so profound.
It really highlights that lingering presence of the past. Like even as she starts this new chapter, the memories of her love back in Tokyo are inescapable. They become part of her journey.
And there's almost like a sense of guilt, too. She says, please forgive me for being unable to end things any other way. Like she's apologizing for moving on, for choosing her own happiness.
That is insightful. Yeah, it speaks to the cultural context too,
Yeah.
back then. Like societal expectations might have made it difficult to like express those feelings directly.
Yeah.
Maybe just leaving on a train without a proper goodbye
Yeah.
was the only way she felt she could break free.
Wow. It adds another layer of complexity to her character. It's not just heartbreak, you know? It's like the pressures and constraints she might have been facing.
Exactly. Azusa 2 becomes so much more than just like a love song.
Right.
It's a story about societal norms and personal freedom and the courage to break free from expectations.
And you know what? As I was listening to the song, I could almost picture myself on that train, just watching the scenery like rush by and feeling all those like mixed emotions inside.
I can totally picture it. Music has this incredible power to like create these vivid images, and evoke strong emotions. It's like a portal to another world, to someone else's experience.
It's not just the melody and the lyrics either. It's the way the Hunters actually like perform the song. Their voices convey so much emotion, especially when they hit that like soaring chorus.
Oh, yeah. They truly bring the story to life.
Yeah.
It's like they're channeling all those feelings of longing, regret, and hope.
You mentioned earlier how different covers of Azusa 2 might like change the feeling of the song. Could you give us like some examples of how that plays out?
Oh, yeah. The variety of artists who have covered Azusa 2 is remarkable.
Yeah.
Like each cover adds this new dimension, reflecting the artist's own style and perspective. Like, for example, there's this cover by this Japanese comedy duo that's really interesting. They basically turned it into this hilarious, almost satirical take on the original.
Wow. That's quite a shift in tone. Does the humor work, or does it feel disrespectful to the original song?
It's actually really well done. It plays with like the melodrama of the lyrics,
Yeah.
and the earnestness of the melody. They even incorporate like these funny sound effects, train whistles and announcements. But it also works because at its core, the song is about this like really relatable experience of moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the comedy duo kind of amplifies the drama just for laughs.
So even though it's presented in this like comedic way, it still connects back to those like universal themes of change and new beginnings.
Exactly. It's amazing how one song can be reinterpreted in such drastically different ways.
Yeah.
The fact that it works both as like this heartfelt ballad and this like comedic piece really speaks to its versatility
Right.
and, the skill of those artists who cover it.
It also shows how music can, like, transcend language and those cultural barriers, you
Mm.
know? Like, even if you don't understand Japanese, you can still feel the emotion in the music.
It's true. Music really is this universal language. It connects us on like a much deeper level, regardless of where we come from.
And Azusa, too, is like a perfect example of that. It's touched the hearts of people like all around the world and continues to inspire these new interpretations and connections.
It's like a reminder that some stories are timeless. They speak to something really fundamental about the human experience, something that just transcends time and place.
It also makes me think about the impact that like just one single song can have. You
Yeah.
know, it can become like this cultural phenomenon, inspire like countless covers, and even spark conversations about like deeper societal issues.
Right.
It's a reminder of the power of art. You
Mhm.
know, it can shape our understanding of the world and ourselves.
It's true. Azusa 2 is more than just a song. It's like this cultural artifact. It's a conversation starter, a testament to the power of human emotion.
I love that. So, as we continue to explore the legacy of Azusa 2, I want to challenge you, our listener, to think about the songs that have had a similar impact on your life. What songs have transported you to another time or place? What songs have, like, sparked conversations or made you think about the world in a new way?
Because it's through those personal connections that music really comes alive,
Hmm.
And as we delve deeper into the cultural impact of Azusa 2, we're going to uncover even more layers of meaning and explore how the seemingly simple song about a train journey has left such a lasting mark on Japanese culture.
Okay, so we've unpacked the lyrics and explored, like, the structure of the music and even talked about those great pants. But I kind of want to shift gears a bit now and dive into, like, the real heart of Azusa 2, you know? Its legacy. What is it about this song that makes it still resonate with people after, like, decades?
It's really incredible to think about, like a song about a specific train journey becoming something so much bigger than that.
It's like the Azusa 2 train has become a metaphor for, like, all of life's journeys. Like, we all have those moments, right? When we have to say goodbye to something or someone. Those times when we kind of board our own metaphorical trains and head towards the unknown.
That's it, exactly. And Azusa, too, captures that bittersweet feeling so perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, like the excitement of new beginnings, but mixed with the sadness of leaving something behind.
Yeah, the lyrics do such a good job of painting a picture of that emotional tug of war, you know what I mean? She's literally on this train, physically moving away from her past, but her heart is still, like, tethered to those memories.
And that tension,
Yeah.
that push and pull between the past and the future. It's something that resonates with, like, everyone. We've all had those moments of transition, those times when you have to let go of something to embrace, like something new.
You know, I was thinking about the timing of the song's release back in 1977. That was like a huge time of change and modernization in Japan.
Oh, totally.
Did you find any connection between, like, the song's popularity and what was happening in Japan back then?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
The song came out during this period of rapid economic growth, social transformation. People were moving from rural areas to cities, pursuing new opportunities, leaving their old lives behind.
So Azusa 2 really captured that feeling of, like, progress and loss, huh? That feeling of being caught between those two worlds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it did it in this way that was both personal and universal.
Yeah.
The specifics of that train journey grounded the song in that particular time, but the emotions it conveys go way beyond that.
It's like the song gave a voice to a feeling that so many people were experiencing but couldn't really put into words, you know?
Right.
Which is, I guess, what great art does.
Exactly. Art gives shape and meaning to our shared experiences.
And it can also connect different generations, too. I bet there are people listening to us right now who weren't even alive when Azusa 2 came out.
Right.
But the song still, like, speaks to them.
Yeah. Because the emotions it explores are timeless. Like
Oh.
the need for connection, the fear of loss, the hope for a better future. Those are universal themes, and they speak to everyone, regardless of your age or where you come from.
And the fact that, like, Azusa 2 is still covered by artists from all these different genres today says a lot about how powerful it is. It's a song that can be reinterpreted and reimagined in all these different ways, each version reflecting the artist's own perspective and style.
It's like the song is on a journey of its own,
Yeah.
constantly evolving and adapting while still keeping that same core emotional essence.
I love that. That's a beautiful way to think about it. It's a metaphor for life. We're all on our own journeys, constantly changing and growing, but we still carry with us all those memories and experiences that shaped who we are.
That's a great way to put it.
And sometimes we just need a song like Azusa 2 to remind us about the beauty and complexity of it all.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up our deep dive on Azusa 2, I want to leave you with this one last thought. What are the Azusa 2 moments in your life? What journeys have you taken? What goodbyes have you said? And what hopes do you carry with you along the way? Because it's in those moments, those times of transition and transformation that we discover who we really are.
And maybe, just like the woman in Azusa too, we might find that as we move forward, a part of us will always be connected to the places and people we've left behind.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Azusa 2. We hope you enjoyed exploring all these layers of meaning and cultural significance behind this amazing Japanese song. Until next time.